So, hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a special guest here. Therese, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Therese Bushen, and I am in the United States from California and currently living in North Carolina, USA.
Hmm, cool. And you have quite a remarkable life, right? So you started as a very intuitive child. Do you want to talk a little bit about that time of your life?
Yes, I had a very interesting education when I was a child and a teen. I went to the experimental school at UCLA, University Elementary School in Los Angeles, California, and they were experimenting with more right brain teaching at the time. So it was
Hmm,
very different than public schools that most people went to. We had a lot of creativity. We had a lot of participation in learning. We didn't just sit and listen to somebody talk. Say if we were studying the Eskimos, we would make Eskimo clothing or carve like little figures from soapstone. And this went on, through my entire elementary school education. And then for high school, I went to Krishnamurti School in Ojai, California, which was J. Krishnamurti was a mystic from India, and
yeah.
he developed this school in Ojai. And once again, we had a lot of art, creativity. We had meditation in the morning before school. It was a boarding school, so we had a dining room there. We had a vegetarian menu if we chose to have that. And so I feel that looking back, that both of these educational systems helped me to retain a lot of my creativity and my intuition, which I feel is natural to everybody, but unfortunately gets kind of programmed out of people by formal education. Um,
True.
all different kinds of things kind of program that out of people. And hearing adults say that's just your imagination, you're too sensitive, don't be silly, all that is what kind of programs that out of people. So
Yeah.
I had some of that too, but I had this foundation that really helped me to retain that. And so now I love helping other people redevelop that part of themselves, which like I said, I feel it's very natural to human beings to have intuition and psychic abilities.
Yeah, beautiful. So your parents must have been quite aware when they put you in this kind of school.
Yes, my mother she was very supportive of, well, she happened to be the dean's secretary of UCLA, so that's how she got my sister, my brother, and myself into
Mm,
that school.
nice.
And then she was meditating and doing yoga and things like that when we were little kids, so we had
Mm,
that influence.
nice. And how about your siblings? Are they also more psychic than other normal people now when they have done these experiences during their
Well,
childhood?
Actually, they are, but it's not something that they focus on so much. My sister is starting to open a little bit more to it. My
Hmm,
brother just seems to have that natural intuition and psychic abilities.
beautiful, beautiful. So what happened after the schooling system, after these educations in your youth and in your adulthood? Like, where did life take you?
Well, at first, when I was out of school, I felt kind of like an oddball because I felt like I was very different than other people.
Right.
And um, but then after a couple of years, I was very happy that I was different than other people because when you're younger, you're trying to fit in more, be like everybody else. And then when you get a little bit older, you think, I don't really want to be like everybody else. I want to be like myself. And
Ex-
so I started, having several different jobs. I worked at a place in Los Angeles called the ESP Laboratory for a while, and
Mhm.
that's when I started like taking classes. They had classes there for psychic development. We did a lot of different exercise.
Hmm.
And then I moved to San Diego from Los Angeles. And that's when I really started to open up because I started I had dabbled in shamanism and self-hypnosis and a lot of different healing modalities. I went
Sure.
to massage school and I became a therapeutic massage practitioner.
Hmm.
But then when I moved to San Diego, I really started meditating seriously. And that's when things really, really opened up. And also paying attention to my dreams. I have been keeping dream journals for over 40 years, and I started realizing I was getting a lot of psychic information in my dreams.
Hmm.
And in San Diego, I worked as a psychic reader for about 5 years at a small church there. And so on Sundays we would go and there would be like 3 psychic readers and we would have about 150 people. We would
Whoa.
divide them up into groups of like 50 and we just go boom, boom, boom down the line, giving them like maybe 2 minutes of a reading. So I got a
Wow.
lot of practice there. And what I started realizing is that everybody is psychic and that a lot of the people that I was doing readings for, they were psychic too, but they just didn't know it and they didn't trust themselves.
Yeah, I
And
think very often it's about that we don't just trust our intuition. We don't.
right, because we had so much programming as children to say it's just a dream, it's just your
Yeah.
imagination, so it kind of minimizes it. But I
Yeah.
think it's a very important part of ourselves, and it can definitely be cultivated and developed.
Yeah.
And then I started teaching art, and what I saw was that many students were reporting to me that they were having psychic occurrences happening in their life, and their dream life was becoming much more interesting and richer. And I think it was the creativity, because one of the things that I taught was anyone can learn to draw by accessing the right side of the brain.
Hmm.
And so I think that's the same part of our brain that kind of gets activated when we're doing any kind of psychic or spiritual work. And
Right.
so having doing the creativity so much, it was opening people up because it sort of focuses your conscious mind on something.
Hmm.
And then it's like you're open to these messages coming through. I get a lot of my own psychic information while I'm creating art,
Hmm.
or like I said, in my dreams. Those are the 2 ways that I kind of get information for myself.
Hmm.
And so I started getting, and a lot of the children would just blow my mind with what they would come up with while they were doing their artwork. Like one of the most interesting cases was a little girl who I was at an after school program teaching art and I was cleaning up, getting ready to leave, and this little girl came up to me and said, here, this picture's for you. And I didn't even turn around. I said, oh no, honey, take it home. Your mom's going to want to see. No, I said, it's for you. I said, oh, your parents are going to want to see it. She said, it's for you. Like that. So I turned around and looked at it. And it was almost an exact duplicate image of a logo that I was working on at home for a t-shirt company, of a sailboat inside of a circle. And I just thought that is just blew me away that she somehow picked up on that. And with the
Yeah.
children, a lot of times I was about to, uh, tell them something to do on their drawing or their painting, and they would say it just as I was about to say it. Should I do this? Should I do that? So I felt like we were really in each other because we were in that creative state. And
Hmm.
then I had always wanted to write a book about developing your own psychic abilities and intuition, and it seems like I never had time because I was always working, running around. And then when COVID hit,
Hmm.
it's like I didn't have too much to do, and so I wrote the book and published it. And so that's one way that I am trying to help people develop, because there's a lot of simple exercises in the book and things to do that will help you open up and develop. And then after the book was published, I start coaching people privately on
Hmm.
developing, and that's really fun. I love that.
Yeah. Beautiful. So you have the book there. Show us the cover, right?
It has my artwork on it.
You're not crazy, you are psychic. And what does it say? What's the
It
title?
says, "You're not crazy, you're psychic, why you should and how you can develop your psychic abilities and intuition."
Right. Beautiful. Yeah. And where can you buy this book?
You can buy it on Amazon. Just
Amazon.
look up the name, "You're Not Crazy, You're Psychic," or you can look up my name, Therese Bushen, and it should come up on Amazon.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, so for everyone who is interested in this book, go to the Amazon. That's great. So, you said that you have been studying also a lot of different kind of healing methods during your life. So, do you want to share anything about that? How do you see healing, and how is health, and how are we people in this world like wired? How do you see it in your point of
Well, I think there's so many different pathways to healing, and I studied shamanic healing with the Foundation for Shamanic Studies for several years. I took classes with them, and I found that was a very beautiful way where you do a shamanic journey, usually listening to a drum beat or a rattle, and it puts you into an altered state of consciousness, sort of like a dreamy type of state, and you have intention for um, healing in different ways. Like, it's really about restoring your power. And I
Hmm.
think, like, through our lives, as we spoke of earlier, our power gets diminished by people telling us, "You can't do that, you're too sensitive, you need to toughen up," and all this. So we shut down in a way, and we lose parts of ourselves. We lose soul parts, we lose our power. And so in shamanism, you go and you look for power for the person through power animals or helping spirits, or
Hmm.
even lost soul parts you bring back to them. And I find that to be a very beautiful um, way to do things. And it's so interesting because even though many people have not heard of shamanism or know what it's about, if I talk to them about soul loss,
Hmm.
everybody seems to know what I'm talking about on a gut level, intuitive level. Everybody's had the experience of having something happen in their life, some trauma or some illness. They don't feel like themselves, they don't feel whole. Even the
Yeah.
expression, I was beside myself. So it's like you're out of your body in a way. So
Yeah.
that is, those are all things that can be done through shamanic healing. And also, I've studied self hypnosis, which I think is very powerful
Hmm.
for healing yourself. It's very effective for healing your body. I've had some interesting healings myself, and then I worked as a therapeutic massage person for many, many years. And you just really tune into the person's energy. You're not just touching them, but you're being with them. You're sending them energy. Um,
Right.
it's also, I think, a very beautiful way to help people heal, to relax, to go into an altered state a little bit. I did something called craniosacral work,
Hmm.
and
Right.
that's real powerful. It's very subtle, but very powerful
Yeah.
for relaxing the nervous system.
Yeah. It's very effective. I like that too a lot. Yeah. So which of these healing modalities do you still offer if people want to come to you?
Well, I offer shamanic healing, and right now I'm taking a break from the therapeutic massage just because of I am having a little issue with my shoulder,
Hmm.
and coaching people for developing their psychic abilities and intuition is my passion right now. Because when I work with somebody, when I give them a reading or when I'm coaching them, you feel like such a strong connection to the person, like you've known them all your life afterwards. And I say it gives new meaning to the phrase, "we are all one," because you
Yeah.
really experience that. And
Yeah.
so this is what I want people to experience, because I feel that, it's like you can tell somebody what being in love is like, But
Hmm.
until they actually experience it for themselves, they don't really know. It sounds good, but they
Yeah.
don't really know. And so it's the same with this, you know. I see people running around, sometimes getting addicted to psychic readings, going to all different people, trying to find
Hmm.
out information and the pathway for their life. But if they can tap into their own abilities, then they have that experience of knowing for themselves. This is real. I mean, you know, for so long in my life, I doubted my own abilities. And
Hmm.
then I look back, and one of the things I tell my coaching clients is go back in your life and write down every time you've had a strong intuition or a premonition or a telepathic communication with somebody that actually manifested. Because then you're showing your logical mind, look, this happened here and here and here and here over and over again until you get to the point you can't deny it. And
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people will still say, "Oh, it's not real. You're making it up." But when you have so many experiences yourself, you know that it is real and that they are the ones that are missing out because they don't have this experience.
Yeah, yeah. So how do you differentiate in your own mind the intuition speaking and your own like imagination? Like, is there a way for you for distinguishing them to understand which one is which one?
Well, one of the things, or a couple of the things that I can say is that when it's a psychic uh, intuition happening, it's usually very persistent.
Hmm.
Like you will keep feeling it, it will keep coming to your mind.
Hmm.
And you kind of can't get it out of your head in a way until you follow through on it. It's like
Hmm.
it's like your inner self or your guides or whatever are urging you to check into something, and until you do it, it's like they keep bugging you, you know. And
Yeah.
um, there's a certain quality. Like I'm a very visual person, I guess because I'm an artist. And so
Yeah.
when I do readings for people, it's very visual for me. It's like watching a movie. And I
Hmm.
usually meditate ahead of time before I get with the person and see if I can pick up some things ahead of time. So it's almost like watching a preview to a movie. And then
Hmm.
I get with the person, I tell them what I've seen, and then I look for more. And there's a quality of the images that's very, it's like it kind of comes at me like out of the blue, I would say. Like suddenly,
Yeah.
boo, you have this image out of the blue, and it's very strong and very clear. And sometimes people will say, no, no, I don't understand that, or that doesn't mean anything. And then they call me back the next day or 2 days later and go, oh my gosh, now I know what you were talking about.
Yeah.
So, because sometimes the information is so close to somebody that it's almost like they don't see it, like that saying you can't see the forest for the trees,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And so there's a lot of different things. Like if you are just worrying about something and it doesn't feel good, then you know it's really more your imagination or your fears. But if
Hmm.
you I feel that any kind of psychic work or psychic reading should be a healing for somebody.
Hmm.
And if it doesn't have that quality of being healing, then it's probably not really accurate information. Because
Right.
I don't look for bad stuff around people because they already know what's going on in their life if they're not happy with it. I look for the things that are going to be helpful and healing for them.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And you have like an idea of having classes of teaching the intuition, right? So classes for children and adults. Do you want to talk a little bit about those?
Yes. Well, like I said, working with children teaching art, I work with children and adults. And I just saw that the children were so naturally psychic, which I keep saying I feel it's a natural part of our psyche that through the ages or through society's programming gets diminished in us. And
Yeah.
so just I'm trying to figure out how to work with children in a way that's fun for them and that they will keep up practicing with like maybe a little bit of meditation and being aware of their dreams, being creative. I think these are all pathways to help to develop our intuition. And I had a class through the Foundation for Shamanic Studies a long time ago that I took, where a woman had us do shamanic journeys and come back and draw what we saw. And it was extremely powerful. And I actually saw, she said, you know, something that you want to create in your life. And what I wanted at the time was a art studio for teaching. And so I saw a house in my journey with a giant peacock standing over it. And so I drew a picture of that. And 2 years later, I got this building that was an old house, really. And I had painted this banner for the city that I was living in at the time of a peacock, and they hung it right outside my studio. So I walk into my studio and I look at this pad of paper that I had done 2 years earlier of the house with the peacock standing over it, and I look out the window and there's the giant peacock over my studio. And so I want to do, and unfortunately that woman who taught that class has passed away, but I want to think about recreating that in a way that's very accessible for children to understand, and for adults who feel that because you don't really need to have a lot of artistic ability to do something like that, because I also feel that everybody is creative, and they just need to allow that. That's another thing that people get shut down with their creativity. Oh, you're not good at that. You need to find something else to do. And I had many students who were very, very talented, but had such little confidence because somebody had told them earlier in their life that they weren't good at it, or that their sister was better than them, or something like that. And so, you know, just pulling that back out and building up the confidence. So I think, you know, practicing anything, I feel that the intuition and the psychic abilities are a skill that can be developed, just like you can develop if you're going to do artwork, or if you're going to play an instrument or learn a new language. You've got to practice. And so the practices are very important: meditation, paying attention to your dream, spending some time in nature and being creative. All these things I think you need to do on a regular basis, and you'll see that that really opens up.
Yeah, definitely. You have any exercise that we could practice right now, so we could demonstrate it for our viewers?
Well, let me think about that for a second. I think one of the that I tell all my clients, I don't know if you're aware of the heart math. Heart
Of the
math.
what?
Heart math.
No, I'm.
They are a group of people in Northern California, and they've been studying intuition and the heart for many years. And they feel that the heart is the seat of intuition. And one
Yeah.
of the meditations that they recommend for people, and I recommend it to all my clients, is to just, we can just sit for a second and take some slow, deep breaths, breathing in and out. And breathe in and breathe out. And another breath in and out. And now focus your awareness in the area of your heart. And imagine that you're breathing in and out through your heart. So we'll take a few more breaths, imagining that every time we breathe in, our heart is expanding. And breathe out. And breathe in, expanding your heart. And out. And another breath in, expanding your heart. and breathe out. And now bring to mind something in your life that makes you happy, something that brings you joy, something that brings a smile to your face. I always think of the animals, the pets that I've had, and imagine them doing the things that they did. And it always makes me feel good and expanded. And feel grateful for those experiences that have made you happy and brought you joy. And when you're ready, you can just bring your awareness back to wherever you are and open your eyes. And this is a very powerful meditation. It seems very simple, but when I started doing that several years ago, I started having really interesting experiences, and I knew that it was connected directly to that meditation. Like I would have like telepathic communication with strangers, like in the store or any place that I would be, and I just knew, because we are all connected, and
Yeah.
that's the thing, you know. And also, another really important thing is forgiveness and gratitude.
Yeah. I
So
teach
let
that a lot to my customers too. Like
yeah,
it's really the key for having anything anything good in your life. Yeah.
right, because when you're angry with somebody or you're harboring a grudge or you feel resentment, you're feeling separated from them.
Yeah.
And so you can't really tune in to see
Yeah.
what's going on. And so, you know, letting go, I have a list of people that I need to forgive and that I need to ask forgiveness from. And I'll
Yeah.
often look at that sometimes at night before I go to sleep and ask to have a healing dream with one person or another. And
Mm.
that's very powerful too. Um, yeah. So I think, you know, being grateful for everything that we do have and letting go of the the things in life that we felt were not fair or not good for us. And I
Mm.
also find that some of my the most difficult things that I've been through, some of the greatest things have come out of that.
Yeah.
And
That's
you
true.
know,
Yeah.
so you have to sometimes know that when you're going through a difficult time, just like with COVID, I
Mm.
think the silver lining is that, you know, we're connecting with so many people all over the world through Zoom. I've met more people in the last 2 years online all over the world than I probably have in the last 10 years in my regular day-to-day life. And
Yeah.
so I think
And
that's the silver
also,
lining to that.
yeah, and many people at the first time in their life had to also quiet themselves and really tune in, which was a gift also, even though for some people it maybe wasn't the easiest thing to do, but I think it was a great gift that this 2 years gave us. So
I
that's,
think so.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we could
And,
tune in and we could extend even further away at the same time. Yeah.
right. And I feel that you know, developing your intuition, I mean, I can't imagine how people survived through history without using psychic abilities and intuition. I mean, how did they know which plants to eat, which plants were poisonous? Because they were in tune with nature. And
Yeah.
I think, you know, we've unfortunately gotten so far away from that, but I feel that it's one of the ways it's going to uh, heal the population of Earth and just heal the Earth when people realize we are connected on a very intimate level. Um,
Yeah.
and that, you know, however you treat other people, you're basically treating yourself. How you treat the Earth, you're treating yourself, and that it will all come back around to you. So opening up and developing this way, I think, is what's going to really help people to heal on a very deep level.
Yeah, I think so too. And it will give the kind of permanent gift because after that you can really trust yourself for the rest of your life. So it's
Yes.
not like that you buy a course and it will make you feel good for 1 month or 3 months, but it's actually a gift that if you give it to yourself and you practice it, it's gonna just get stronger and stronger and create more happiness in your life.
Mm, absolutely. And I think there's a point where you're, you know, like I feel practice is very important, meditation, paying attention to your dreams, all that, very important. But you get to a certain point where even if you don't do that for a while, you're not going to lose it because you've
Hmm.
elevated your consciousness to a level where you're never going to go back to thinking the
Yeah,
way that you did before because you're going to have a knowing, you
yeah,
know. It's just a knowing that you can trust your intuition, and you just want to keep working at it. And it's like any creative thing, I remember when I first started doing a lot of art, I had a sculpting teacher, and I thought, oh, she's so good, she's so talented. And
hmm.
then after I knew her for a few years, I went, oh, and her work just keeps getting better and better and better. I thought that she was at the top of the game there, but as you keep doing things, you keep getting better. And when I was teaching art a lot, I noticed that my own work was getting better. And so now with teaching the intuition, I'm looking forward to that developing and evolving for myself too. Because they say that, whatever you want to learn, you teach it. And
Hmm.
then you learn more and more because you're always focusing your attention on it.
Yeah, that's great. And do you teach like different ways, different people who have like different senses? Like let's say I'm very kinesthetic. When I treat people, when I do the healing, I can really feel stuff in my hands, and I have a kind of knowing. I don't have so much visuals, sometimes colors and stuff. Sometimes I hear something, but like basically like my strongest ones are my hands and my knowing. So is there a different way of teaching different people with different psychic abilities?
Well, I think that, every one of our physical senses has a psychic counterpart.
Hmm.
And, you know, I feel like whatever is a person's their strongest sense, they're just
Hmm.
going to keep developing that through the exercises that I give them. But also they'll find that other abilities are opening up. Like my strongest sense is visual, but
Yeah.
I'm noticing more and more. Sometimes I get like I'll hear something in my head. Like I woke up a couple of weeks ago with a certain vitamin that I needed to take going
Hmm.
through my head over and over and over. And I don't know where that was coming from, but it was a voice was saying, take this, take this, take this. And
Yeah.
I looked it up, and it was something that my body probably needs. Um,
Yeah.
so I think that um, when you are focusing on developing, you're going to find that your other senses start developing as well.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing for the people in the audience who might be hearing stuff, like there is a very important thing to know that intuition usually is something positive. It wants to uplift you, it wants to give you like good stuff and help you with your life. So if you hear a negative voice or negative chatter, that is not your intuition, and tell them to stop and don't listen to them, because there are also some other beings in this world that wants to come through the auditory channels. So just to
Yes,
let you, if you start
yes,
listening, just know that the stuff that is uplifting and makes you feel better and helps you is usually the intuition, and the very negative stuff is something else.
right.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like, in our life, in our daily life, we don't want to engage with anybody and
Hmm.
everybody. We want to be involved with people that make us feel good, that uplift us. We don't want to be around negative people. So it's just like you wouldn't open your front door and say, anybody who wants to come in, come on in.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
you
Yeah,
you selectively who decide who comes into your space.
yeah,
And I think it's that. But I think if you do your practices, and you keep yourself healthy, with your through your diet and exercise, and that can be a little different for everybody. Not everybody is exactly the same. Then you're
Mm.
going to basically attract good energy around you and good thoughts. And
Yes.
if you do have a problem with persistent negative thoughts or hearing things, then you want to get somebody, you want to talk to somebody who can help you with that, and just really keep your vibrations high. And like we talked about, gratitude
Yes.
is a good way to do that.
Yeah.
I like, if I feel myself starting to get down or negative, one of my favorite things to do is to dance,
Hmm.
because I love music and I love moving, and moving your body um, helps you to get rid of accumulated stress and stress hormones, and that
Yes.
can have an effect on you mentally. So
Yes.
all these things, make a list of things that you can do to keep yourself healthy and happy, and a high vibration. For me,
Exactly.
it's doing art, it's doing dancing, being around animals, being in nature, walking, you know, looking at plants and flowers and things like that all seem to elevate my vibrations very quickly.
Yes, that's true. And I think you only should do the psychic practices when you are in a high vibrational state, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Like you shouldn't
Abs-
even do it from when you are in low mood, because that's kind of, it's like opening the door for everyone to let in. So, and
right.
it, just for the audience to know that in this world we have this one law of attraction, and the vibrational state where you are at. The law of vibration is the first law, and the law of attraction is the secondary law. So when you are on a high vibrational level, only the high vibrational stuff can come to you, and this is why it is very important to keep yourself in a good mood and in a healthy mental and physical and spiritual state before doing these kind of exercises. Yeah,
Definitely.
perfect. And so you shared earlier that your goal is to train an army of psychic people for this world. So do you want
Yeah.
to share your dream about how work
Okay.
will be in the future?
Well, like I said, I feel that when people start developing this way, it's
Mm.
natural, it's already there, but they probably shut it down. Um, that they are going to be much kinder to people, to other people, because they're going to realize that, if somebody is not acting that great, maybe they have some hard thing that they're dealing with, maybe they lost somebody, or, they have a physical health problem or whatever, and it's coming out, in not being so nice. So I just feel that it's what's going to heal the world if we realize that we're so connected. And now what's so wonderful is that so many branches of science, like quantum physics, are
Mm.
they're
Yeah.
proving that we're connected. And that what the mystics and the people have been saying for thousands of years, that now they're seeing that this is actually true. We are connected. We are all one. And if you look at pretty much any indigenous culture around the world, they
Mm.
felt this way. And when I first started doing readings, if I would have, like, being in the United States, we have a certain type of culture. Not a lot of people necessarily always believe in this
Mm.
type of thing. But I'd get people from another country and they'd go, oh, yeah, yeah, that's my grandmother. Yeah, and they were just very accepting of it because they grew up saying
Yeah.
this is more normal, it's more normalized.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
so I think that, it is becoming more normalized and more accepted in Western society, but still we've got a ways to go.
Yeah. We still have, but that's why we are creating this YouTube channel and this network of healers, so that people can find information and find practitioners around the world. So this is one of my dreams in this life, is to help to raise the awareness of the holistic services and healing ourselves in natural ways. Yeah. So, any last words you would like to share with our viewers today? Anything we didn't cover in this session?
Well, I just want to say that I feel like, I've been on the planet for quite a while now. And, I went through a lot of different stages in my life where I was doing different things. And now doing what I'm doing, helping people to develop their intuition and psychic abilities, I feel like I finally have found my true path that I can do for the rest of my life. I
Beautiful.
love it. It's so much fun. And I love seeing people having these awakenings and coming back and saying, oh my gosh, you can't believe what happened, or you can't believe the experience or the dream that I had that came true. So I'm just really happy to be doing this. And, I feel that my creativity has helped me to develop this a lot. And I
Yeah.
plan on doing my artwork for the rest of my life. And I just love meeting new people and working with people and seeing them grow and develop and feel, like I said earlier, once I work with somebody, it's like they're part of my family because
Yeah.
we know each other now on such an intimate level. So I find it very beautiful.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. And now, if any of our viewers wants to come and book a session with you, how can they find you?
Well, right now, probably the best way is to email me. At my email address is Therese at artbytherese.com, and it's THERESE, Therese at artbytherese.com.
Perfect. We will write that in the comment section so people will find it from there. Yeah. And what services do you provide now for people? It's the psychic sessions and shamanic stuff. Was it so?
Yes, and the coaching for developing the psychic abilities. I do psychic readings, and I mentioned I've been studying mediumship for the past couple of years.
Right.
I've been doing readings for over 40 years, and I was seeing spirit, but I didn't really realize that I was seeing spirit. I thought it was just more psychic information.
Hmm.
And but then I had a couple of experiences that were undeniable, that this was somebody's departed loved one coming in with a message for them. So I decided to take some courses in that, and I'm so glad I did because it's amazing. It's one of the best gifts that I can ever give somebody, is to give them a evidential reading that their loved one is around them. And
Yeah.
so I do. My sessions seem to be kind of a combination of psychic information and mediumship. Doesn't always happen where spirit comes through, but they
Hmm.
they do enough that I know. I've had enough experience with that I
Yeah.
know that it's really happening. And then I do this shamanic work for any kind of power loss, power animal retrieval, soul loss. Um, I do power animal portraits, and
Hmm.
I do power portraits, what I call for people. I have I'll have them find their most favorite photograph of themselves,
Hmm.
and then maybe a dozen things in their life that make them really happy, really uplift them. Could be animals, could be plants, could be other people, could be their job, a musical instrument, whatever. And I will do a portrait with them, things surrounding them. And so they use that as a focal point of meditation or contemplation, or just to look at it and get a boost of energy, like feeling uplifted by seeing all the things that empower them.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, so if you want to manifest something in your life, like a good career, that's a great picture to have because it will help you to direct your energy in
Right.
that.
I've had some people ask me to do like a house that they wanted and put
Hmm.
it, or some vacations like in tropical places to put that around them.
Yeah. Cool. So, you have a lot of nice stuff. So, dear viewers or dear audience, feel free to contact Therese. Perfect. So I guess we are uh, quite in the end of the interview. Then, any wisdom you want to share with the people watching you right now?
I would say the most important thing is to believe in yourself.
Hmm.
Believe in yourself and trust yourself and do whatever you need to do to expand that. You know, whether
Yes.
it's getting away from toxic people, toxic relationships, meditating more, spending more time in nature, or even just looking at yourself in the mirror and sending yourself love.
Yeah. Yeah, very often we always want to support the people around us, but we very rarely let ourselves to be the priority in our lives, which is sometimes a little bit sad. So that's a good advice for everyone. Put yourself first sometimes. That's great.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Thank you very much for this interview. And thank you, viewers, for watching. And I wish everyone a lovely day and much love.
Oh, thank you so much. It was so nice connecting with you.
You too. Thank you.